right, it's splitting day, I hope, anyway. The queen cells should be just a couple days from emerging in that box right there, number 3. And I've got to go through, I know this hive here, it's got the 2 5 frames on top of it. I'm planning on basically tearing that one all the way down. It's a good strong 10 frame hive, but I'm going to tear it down into a bunch of smaller mating, or splits / mating nucs. And I want to find 2 or 3 more to be able to do that with, if I can, to give a queen cell to each one. That's kind of the plan. So first off, I'm going to go check my cells, make sure they haven't like already emerged early, or this is all a waste of time. And if they're still looking good, then I'm back over here on my pile of all this nice freshly painted equipment, specifically the 5 frames. Hopefully I can dig up enough bottoms and tops to make all the splits that I want to. Such is the plan anyway. So let me go check the cells first, make sure they're looking good, and then we'll try to find a place to set up a whole bunch of mating nucs. Alright, so I just checked in on the queens. We did have one loss as far as a cell that was already torn down. I don't know if she just died in the cell for whatever reason, but they'd ripped that cell open and abandoned it. The rest of them, so there's 11 now that are still capped. I'm going to try to make 11 splits. I tend to be a bit overzealous when it comes to this, and I'll lose a couple of them, but I figure if you don't try, you definitely don't get what you don't try for. So what we'll do is we'll make the splits, and then we'll check back in a couple of days to see if the queens are out, how the splits. We'll try to check the splits each day to make sure that the bees are staying in there, and then hopefully if they've stayed in their box for a couple of days, by the time the queen emerges, then they should stay as a hive. My only concern is whether or not they recognize that queen cell as something to hold them down, because we are going to be working right here in the same yard. So if they feel like they can find their parent colony back, then we can have a problem. So what I'm going to do basically is I'm going to start over here. There it is. It's funny how that works backwards. Anyway, I'm going to start over there. I'm going to take that existing queen, and I'm going to move her as far over here to the other side as I can. So I'm going to split her out with a couple of bees and then get a queen cell back into her hive. That'll be the most stable thing I can do. The ones that really concern me is the ones where we're taking bees from a stable hive and we're putting them into brand new, which these aren't brand new, they're newly painted, but these aren't brand new boxes. Those are the ones that are more likely to abscond. Number 3, the one that's holding the queen cells over here, that one's got a really good population of bees in it. Be able to make several splits out of it. This 10 frame, this white 10 frame back here, has a really good population of bees. We'll make several splits out of it, and be doing the same thing the whole time, taking the queen out of it to begin with and putting her into a split of her own, and then breaking down the rest of the hive into as many splits as we can get out of it. Such is the plan. Let's see how it goes. I'll try to show you guys if we can get the camera to focus here. I'm going to hold this up with the sun behind it, and you can look inside the queen cells. You'll be able to see her little butt sticking up. Hang on. Camera focus. Camera focus on the frame and not the pine trees that are 50 feet away. There we go. I'm trying to get the light behind it. There's the one they chewed open. But if we can get the sunlight just right behind it, well, I can see them. Let's see if I turn it around. It's surprising how small they actually look in there. There you go. Looks like little dark shadows inside. Come on, camera. There, 3 little queen butts sticking up. See, at least 2 on the right, or in the middle of your screen there. 2 obvious ones. So that's all I was doing to look inside, to see this morning. And I counted all 11. Some are smaller than others. But we've made our first split. So I took that queen. The queen is in here in a candy cage, so she'll come out in a couple days. Hopefully that's enough time to settle them in this new box. Leaving behind her old hive, which will now get a queen cell. And they're stable. They've got brood, they've got everything, so they don't want to leave. They just lost their queen, but they're going to get a queen cell to replace her. Okay, so we finished the splits. 3 new hives there that have boards on top, just covering up where their feeder hole is. That cap split. one of those, I think, has a queen that was moved, and the other two are queen cells. All these through here all have queen cells in them. They're all 2, maybe 3 frames at most. Mostly just a frame of brood and a frame of food. That one wasn't split. That one I split 4 out of. So one of those was taking their queen, and then I left behind, you know, a couple frames, 2 frames of brood, a frame of food or whatever, but they're going to catch all their foragers, so really they don't need any food. I think I took 1 split out of this 23/8 here, and 2 more splits, I think, maybe 2 splits out of that one, and 2 more out of that one, maybe. Now this one is the one that I used for raising the queen cells, and just now going through it, I think that's where the little swarm came from the other day that I tried to catch, which I caught it and I had it for a couple of days, and they were set up on that rail and then they left. So I couldn't find a queen in there or any eggs, which was annoying. Now I've had them do that before. I put a queen excluder on and they don't like it, and the queen will take off. And the last time it happened was several years ago, and it was a full abscond. It wasn't just a small swarm. There's no swarm cells in there. There's no evidence that it was a planned departure. It was almost like the queen got, almost like she took off on her own, you know, and she just had a little small swarm with her. I don't know. Anyway, I took a frame of eggs from 1514 there and moved it over here. So we shall see, but the bees are pretty rightly stirred up now. I'm gonna go ahead and pick all my stuff up. And oh, this is another split that's got just a queen in it. That's the queen from over there, the first or second one. I gotta find a lid to put on that. Now I'm gonna get myself messed up because I've started cutting new feeder lids. All my old feeder lids had a regular mouth jar, and I'm trying to get rid of every regular mouth jar I own and swap everything as far as in my pantry and my bee yard, everything. I want to swap it all over to wide mouth. So now I'm gonna have a bunch of regular mouth feeder lids and a bunch of wide mouth feeder lids. And I'm gonna have to figure all that out. So that's annoying, but it was my decision, so I'll deal with it. Anyway, splits are done. We will check back on them, probably not this evening, probably just tomorrow morning. Same thing, we'll check on them, we'll check the population in all of them. And if any of them seem like they're real weak, we will grab a frame of bees from a different hive and just shake them out in front of the entrance, and hopefully they'll pick up some house bees that way.